Namaste guys, ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this March 19th, 2020. It's a great day within the world that I live in with energy healing, pranic healing, or Hatha yoga, and other spiritual practitioners from around the world. Today is known as MahaSamadhi of MCKS. So MCKS, Stephen Namaste, is my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, the modern founder of pranic healing and Hatha yoga. And on March 19th, 2007, Grandmaster Choa Koksui left his body. So Samadhi means oneness. Maha means great. It also can be related or translated as the great sleep. So when a great soul, so Mahatma Gandhi means the great soul of Gandhi, Atma, soul. So Maha means great, Atma means soul. So Maha Samadhi is another way of saying the great sleep. So when a great teacher no longer needs their physical body and they become one with God, one with all, that's called the Maha Samadhi. So Grandmaster Choa Koksui, as a great spiritual and world teacher, left his body March 19th of 2007. So this is our celebration, if you will, of the teacher's life and all the sacrifices that he did. And I remember actually when I heard about Grandmaster Choa Koksui leaving his body, I was living in Orlando, Florida at the time, and my mentor, who was in Sarasota, Florida, sent me an email. This is before text, kind of, sort of. I mean, a little bit of texting here and there, but texting wasn't as common as it is now. And he sent me a message that says, Grandmaster Choa Koksui left the body. And I was stunned. I was stunned because I only had about 3 years of working with the teacher when he would come to the United States and teach on the East Coast and West Coast. So it came as a big surprise to me because there was no publicly preparatory knowledge or wisdom that, hey, Master Choa is going to be leaving his body. So took it as a big surprise. And to be honest with you, I actually cried longer and harder when I found out Master Choa left his body than I did for my own father, who left his body many, many years later. And part of it is, as I understand it from the teachings I've received over the years and the work that I do, is that our parents, right, our mother and father that we have in this incarnation, are only with us as our parents in this incarnation. Previous incarnations and future incarnations, they could be brothers, sisters, lovers, they could be co-workers, bosses, torturers, what have you. Caleb, Namaste. But the spiritual teacher, or the Sat Guru, the permanent spiritual teacher that has been assigned to our souls, stays with us for our entire incarnations as a human being. And so the loss of the Sat Guru, or the loss of the spiritual teacher on the physical plane, can be very traumatic and dramatic, Adriana, Namaste, for many, many people. And so it's interesting that Grandmaster Choa Koksui would always say over and over and over again through lectures, through healings, through meditations, that the teacher, meaning him, is not the body. The teacher and the teachings are energy. So the people who met Grandmaster Choa Koksui in the physical form and were attached to his physical form, and then when he left his physical body, people began to gradually fade away and no longer connect with pranic healing or Hatha yoga or the teachings within this community, because they said, well, the main guy is no longer in the physical body, right? But they misunderstood the teacher's very simple teachings. That the teacher is not the body, the teacher is the soul, the teacher is energy, and the teachings are energy or light. So it's interesting that over my 16, Rosemary, I'm going to say over my 16 years as a pranic healer and professional energy healer, I've seen people get into pranic healing who never met Grandmaster Choa Koksui physically, but have a tremendously deep, rich, loving devotion and reverence to him as the spiritual teacher, because they are not identifying with the physical body of the teacher. Then you have people who met Grandmaster Choa Koksui in the physical form. I was lucky enough and privileged enough to meet the teacher in a physical form, who when he left the physical body, they left pranic healing because they only saw the physical body of the teacher. So they thought that the teachings, the teacher, and the energies was only with his physical body. Nayana. No. Nayano. Did I say that correctly? Welcome to the stream. So when Grandmaster Chogo Kokusui was getting ready to leave his body, because a small group of people knew that he was going to be leaving his body, and that's what great teachers do. They plan the exiting of their physical bodies. He had 3 instructions to be disseminated or given out to all the pranic healers and Arhatic yogis and disciples of Grandmaster Chogo Kokusui to carry on the legacy of healing and the legacy of transformation, right? And so I want to share those 3 tenets, if you will, for how you can live your own greatness, whether you're a pranic healer or not, whether you're an Arhatic yogi or not. Obviously, it's going to have more significance if you're a practitioner of this school, but I think these teachings are universal and will give you great insight into your own life and how to be great. Because if I asked you the question, what does it mean to be great? What would you say? Right? We all want to be great. Nobody was born or wakes up in the morning and says, I can't wait to be mediocre today, or I can't wait to be average, or I can't wait to be like everybody else, right? Nobody does that. So everybody in their own little way wants to embody greatness. So what would that be? Vijay, I'm going to say, what would that be? What does greatness look like? What does greatness look like? It's actually quite interesting from a book that I was reading over the summer. It was recommended to me by one of the masters of pranic healing called Living the Gita by Sat Chitananda. And this spiritual teacher was basically giving a commentary of one of the oldest spiritual teachings in the world. It's about 5,000 years old, the Bhagavad Gita. And it's the story of Krishna, the spiritual teacher, if you will, and Arjuna, the disciple or great warrior, having a conversation on the battlefield of life and what to do. And in that commentary, he asked the question, it's 13 chapters in a big, much bigger story. And he asked, what does an enlightened person look like? How do they sit? How do they stand? How do they speak? How do they live their lives? And so the tenets of greatness is, how does a great person live? How does a great person think? How does a great person speak? How does a great person act and behave in the world? So the 3 tenets that Grandmaster Chogo Kokusui left all of his disciples before he left his physical body. And by the way, this was for his current disciples and his future disciples. So practice diligently, purify oneself, and spread the teachings. By living those 3 tenets, you can live your greatness. So what does it mean to practice diligently? The word diligent means to do something with care. To do something with care. So when you practice diligently, it means you have a level of awareness, a level of understanding, and a level of care in what you are doing. So you can look at, how do I practice diligence of being a good parent, being a good spouse, being a good employee, being a good employer, being a good child, being a good student of life, right? How do I practice care in everything that I do? How do I practice awareness, understanding, and care in everything that I do? So practice diligently. And it's interesting because a lot of us want to become evolved, right? Some of us want to become really evolved really quickly. And some of us, as one of the masters would say, who wants to be a better person? Not a saint, not a holy master, who just wants to become a better person, right? And every hand in the room will go up. It's the same thing of practicing diligently. In order to become a better person, you need to consistently and persistently take on a certain level of thoughts, speech, and actions each and every day of your life to become a better person. And as the saying goes, you do not become a saint by accident. Likewise, you do not become a better person by accident. Right? So that was the first tenet, is practice diligently. So whatever it is that you're doing with your life, do it with awareness, do it with understanding, do it with care. Not always easy, for sure, right? So practice diligently. Number 2 is purify yourself. So purification is basically removing any and all internal and external obstacles of you connecting to God. Removing any and all internal and external obstacles to you connecting to God. Another way of saying it is having faith. Another way of saying it is being super conductive and super receptive to the energies and blessings of God and the great ones. But because we have preconceived ideas, because we have preconceived limitations that we brought with us, Dinatma Namaste, from other incarnations that are currently affecting us in this incarnation, Master Marilag, Atma Namaste, we have to practice purifying ourselves. So, within pranic healing, within our Hatha Yoga, and within the higher teachings that Grandmaster Chola Kuktsui has revealed to the world over the past 30 years, he gives us thought processes, he gives us techniques, tools, technologies to purify ourselves of our inner weaknesses. Obviously, because this is a public forum, we can't go into all the finer and higher details of that. But simply put, within pranic healing, which is a weekend class, right? You can sign up. It's about pretty much anywhere in the world. It's anywhere from $350 to $400 in that currency. And then you can, within that weekend, you learn very powerful purification techniques and practices to remove the inner resistance and blockages to you being conductive and receptive to God, to the great ones, to your spiritual teacher, and to your higher soul, right? Which goes back to the principle of purify oneself. So even in a simple pranic healing session, 80% of the session is cleansing and purifying you of disease-congested energies in the auric field, in the chakras, in the meridians or energy channels, for the purpose of more of your divine energy to flow through you, or the divine energy from God, the great ones, your spiritual teacher, your higher soul, through your system. So purification is super, 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 super important. Okay? So one way of purifying yourself that is open to the general public is the meditation on twin hearts, or the twin hearts meditation, which is an ancient meditation that has been practiced by saints and holy masters for eons of time. It's the meditation of blessing the entire planet and all sentient beings with loving kindness. In Grandmaster Chola Kuksui's brilliance, he was able to take a very, very advanced meditation practice that was reserved for adepts and high-level initiates, and step the techniques down to make it consumable for the ordinary, everyday person. Does that make sense? So you're taught how to safely, but still powerfully, be an instrument of goodwill and the will to do good by blessing Mother Earth with certain qualities using the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. The Twin Hearts meditation is not a Catholic meditation. It's not a religious meditation. It's simply the format we use to allow a certain quality of energies to flow through us. Patty, Atma Namaste. Does that make sense? So doing the Twin Hearts meditation, just the Twin Hearts meditation, on a regular basis will gradually purify you of negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative disease, congested energies that are blocking you from connecting to your higher self and above. Does that make sense? So just the Twin Hearts meditation alone has a purifying effect. There are breathing exercises, also known as pranayama, that have a cleansing, purifying effect on your thoughts, on your emotions, and even your physical body. Physical exercise is something you can do to purify yourself on a physical and etheric level. So you have your physical body. The next level is called the etheric body, which interpenetrates the physical body. Then you have the emotional body, which is where you have your feelings that interpenetrates the etheric and physical body. Then you have your mental body, where we have our thoughts, our ideals about life, our ideas about life, our belief systems that interpenetrate the emotional, etheric, and physical bodies, right? So these all need to be purified. So physical exercise is a great practice in purifying your physical body. So prana, or energy, can flow through you easier, and you have greater vitality, you have good health, and the likelihood of getting sick is less likely, right? And, excuse me, another thing that you can do in the purification practice is character building. So within pranic healing, in our Hatha Yoga, we have character building as the foundation of our practice, the foundation not just of our meditation practice, but the foundation of our life. Because character building, everything builds from that. So if you have bad character and you add a bunch of energy to your life is going to fall apart very, very quickly. But if you have a big, strong, healthy base of good character, of virtue in your life, you can stack on a tremendous amount of responsibilities, a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of commitments, and be able to fulfill those because you have a solid foundation of good character. Does that make sense? So as Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui says, for those who are becoming pranic healing instructors, he says an instructor cannot have any major character flaws, because we're all imperfect. And he also says, Yana Namaste, that you do not have to be perfect, at least not in this lifetime. You do not have to be perfect, at least not in this lifetime, right? So character building is very important. The virtues that we work on within pranic healing in our Hatha Yoga as character building is loving kindness and non-injury, generosity and non-stealing, honesty and non-lying, also accurate perception and correct expression, moderation and non-excessiveness, and constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness. Those are the 5 virtues that we work on within pranic healing, okay, and our Hatha Yoga. So that is another way of purifying yourself, being a virtuous person, okay? And then another aspect within purification is inner reflection and firm resolution. Tina Namaste. This practice is taught in one of Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui's book called Pranic Psychotherapy. Within that book, you're taught a basic practice on how to do inner reflection and firm resolution. In the higher levels of pranic healing and Hatha Yoga, you're taught more powerful techniques. What is the purpose of inner reflection and firm resolution? Excellent question. I'm glad that you asked. So, Grandmaster Choa Kok Sui has a quote that I built my entire healing practice on, which is, without awareness, there is no inner transformation. Again, without awareness, there's no inner transformation. Awareness of what? Awareness of what you're thinking, awareness of what you're saying, awareness of what you're feeling, awareness of what you're doing. The reason most of us don't change or we stay the same for a number of years is because we lack the awareness to change. The analogy I like to give is someone who is an alcoholic who doesn't have awareness of their alcoholism, but just because they lack awareness doesn't mean it's not negatively affecting them and not negatively affecting those around them. It still is. They just lack the awareness because of negative pride, self-conceitedness, self-delusion, and the energies of addiction around them, right? They lack awareness. But what happens is somebody hits rock bottom in a situation of alcoholism. They end up hitting somebody, hitting another car, hitting a telephone pole. They destroy their car. They have to go into, they have to hire an attorney. They have to spend thousands of dollars on the attorney. They have to do maybe hundreds of hours of service work. They have to go to AA meetings, and they have to, and they lose their license. So when they get to that point in their lives, guess what? They go, hi, my name is John, and I'm a, right, alcoholic. That is the moment that person has the awareness to transform their lives. Big deal, right? But that person didn't have to suffer all of those other things if they just developed greater awareness. So how do you develop awareness? Through inner reflection and firm resolution, the technique that is taught within the pranic psychotherapy book, as well as the higher levels of pranic healing and Arhatic yoga. So it simply means examining your day at the end of every day, right? So you wake up in the morning, you have your exercise routine, your meditation routine, then you go to work for your 8 to 9 hours, you come home, you watch a little bit of TV, you interact with your family, and then you're heading off to bed. In that process, there were thoughts that you had, words that you spoke, and actions that you did that either improve the quality of your life or sabotage the quality of your life. But if you never sit down and look at your life and go, okay, how was today? What did I do that was good? What did I do that was not so good? What can I do better tomorrow? What can I do if I'm doing good things, how can I do more of those good things? If I'm doing bad things, how can I do less of those bad things? Does that make sense? It's really, really profound. So with inner reflection and firm resolution, meaning I look at the things I didn't do so well and I make a firm resolution to start doing the right thoughts, the right speech, and the right actions moving forward, you have transformation. Because you have awareness, you have transformation. No awareness, no transformation. Does that make sense? So you can see just that single concept that Grandmaster Choa Koksui says of purify oneself, you can see how so much teachings are built into that, right? So the first one was practice diligently, practice with care, everything that you do in life, with your meditation practice, with your relationships with others, with your career and your finances, with your spiritual practice, practice diligently. Be on top of your game is another way of looking at it. And then third and final tenet or instruction, if you will, from Grandmaster Choa Koksui to his worldwide disciples and students is spread the teachings. This is a really big one. Spread the teachings. So you go, well, what are the teachings? The teachings are energy. The teachings are light, love, and power. So you could look at the character building that we just talked about developing under purify oneself as you become a greater source of light, of love, and power in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You are spreading teachings. You are spreading light, love, and power. You're spreading goodness into the world, right? That's why they're kind of all connected with one another. So if you had the cure for cancer, or you had the cure for the coronavirus, would you want to keep it to yourself, hoard it for yourself, only give it to the people closest to you and not share it with anyone else? Or would you say, the right thing to do would be to share the cure of cancer, the cure of the coronavirus, the cure of this, that, and other, to alleviate the suffering of mankind? What would be the right thing to do? Well, the right thing to do would be alleviate the suffering of others. So when we look at from the perspective of what Grandmaster Choa Koksui did over the 30 years of developing, refining, and spreading pranic healing and Arhatic yoga around the world, he provided us with teachings through books, through CDs, through classes, and the senior instructors. So when we sit and we learn a very powerful meditation that causes us to have inner peace, happiness, mental stillness, mental clarity, spiritual fulfillment, wouldn't we want to share that with another person? Right? Wouldn't we want to share that with another person instead of hoarding it for ourselves of like, I got this really powerful meditation technique, or I read this really powerful transformative book, or I listened to this really powerful CD from this spiritual teacher. I'm going to keep it for myself. So is that spreading the teachings or is that hoarding the teachings? But here's the interesting thing. If you believe in the law of karma, if you believe in the law of sowing and reaping, the law of giving and receiving. If you have a beautiful experience learning a meditation technique or reading a good book or listening to a great CD or MP3, and you share that with another person, are they going to benefit from that? Yes or no? Yes. And are you on a karmic level going to benefit from that as well? Yes or no? Absolutely. So the more people in the world that are happy, joyful, blissful, spiritualized, more illuminated souls, will that make the world a better place or a worse place? It'll make the world better, right? So that's why Master Choa Koksui says, spread the teachings. So you're taught very powerful meditation practices, healing practices, spiritual practices that you can apply to your everyday life. You're seeing it benefits your life. Wouldn't it make sense to share it with other people? Right? Spread the teachings. Now you might be saying, well, Christian, I don't know if my friends and my family members or whomever is going to be open and receptive to these teachings. 100%. There are people that are going to be completely closed off, and there's going to be people that absolutely unequivocally lives will be transformed miraculously because you introduce them to Twin Hearts, because you introduce them to one of the books by Grandmaster Choa Koksui, because you invited them to a meditation and healing clinic or basic pranic healing workshop. You're not looking for everybody, right? Because everyone's not open and receptive. Everyone has different paths in life. There are many paths to God. But if you're holding the seeds or you're holding the cure and you don't share with anyone else, how could they get better, right? So for instance, let's say you have the cure for cancer or the cure for the coronavirus, and there are people who are sick and dying and suffering from those diseases and infections and ailments, and you go, well, I don't know if it's going to work for them. Well, you have to offer it to them. Let them take it and see if it improves the quality of their life. See if it heals the ailment or the condition. Hello? Right? That's why they call test trials. That's what you're doing. I don't know if everyone's going to be open to this Twin Hearts meditation. I don't know if everyone's going to be open to reading Miracles Through Pranic Healing. I don't know if everyone's going to be open to taking a 16-hour class on how to heal themselves and other people using energy. I don't know. But if you put it out there, you give people the opportunity. And just by you giving people the opportunity, you're helping to transform the world. And you're also transforming yourself in the process. Grandmaster Choa Koksui says, if you want to master something, teach it. So if you want to master spirituality, teach it. If you want to master healing, teach it. If you want to master meditation, teach it. Or expose people to it that are more qualified than you. Does that make sense? So those are the three instructions that Grandmaster Choa Koksui had before he left his body on March 19th, 2007. His MahaSamadhi was practice diligently, purify oneself, and spread the teachings. You can do all of those things whether you're a pranic healer or not, whether you're an Hatha yogi or not, as long as you're a person of goodwill and the will to do good, who wants to help transform the world. Pranic healing or Hatha yoga is a built-in system in school to greatly facilitate that process, right? But even if you're not a pranic healer or Hatha yogi, you can still practice those three instructions to live your greatness. Because like we said, you don't become a saint by accident. You don't become great by accident. You have to practice, 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 purify, 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 spread the teachings, spread the teachings, spread the teachings, spread the teachings. So these live streams that we're doing right now is my little form of spreading the teachings for Grandmaster Choa Koksui. Because I am a disciple of the teacher, and I've been a disciple, at least in this incarnation, for 16 years. I remember the first time I saw Master Choa Koksui, it was at the Crown Plaza Hotel, July of 2004. And I remember looking at him and I go, he doesn't have the same energy as his picture. Because his picture that I saw in Vancouver, British Columbia, was this little, as I perceived him to be, this little, meek, timid Asian man in the woods, right? Because there's a picture of like the woods in the background. And he's just holding his hand like this in the blessing position or blessing mudra. And I was like, interesting. Zach, I'm a namaste. And then I went to an event almost a year later, less than a year later, called Arhatic Yoga. And I learned Arhatic Yoga with Grandmaster Chogo Koksui directly. And when I walked in, I saw a 6'1", fast-moving, tiger-like person teaching from stage. And I'd never experienced anyone like that. And for those of you who've been watching the streams for a couple of years, I've shared different stories that I've had interacting with the teacher directly. But Grandmaster Chogo Koksui was not in any way, shape, or form an ordinary person. Not even close. He was a great person. He was, in my humble opinion, a saint. So very grateful to have learned from the teacher. Very grateful to celebrate the MahaSamadhi, which is today, March 19th, celebrating the teacher's passing from the physical body. And then doing my best to practice the 3 instructions he left for all of his students and disciples around the world. Practice diligently, purify oneself, spread the teachings. That's it. So thank you guys very much for joining. May God and Grandmaster Chogo Koksui bless each and every one of you in your lives. For those of you who need healing, which we all need healing, especially at this time in history, please go to ChristianRLong.com. It's my name, it's my website. You can schedule a healing session right then and there. And the Pranic Healing Masters developed a coronavirus protocol that helps with the respiratory system, specifically of what's going on with this particular disease. Adriana's blown it up. What does Yana say? Now more than ever, all thank you for GMCKS Pranic Healing and Hatha Yoga teachings, an option for a way to heal, secure, no touching, natural, practical, easy to learn. Thanks, Master. It's actually a very good point that Yana brings up. So pranic healing is defined as a comprehensive system of no-touch energy healing that utilizes prana or energy to accelerate the body's natural ability to heal itself. So guess what? You can practice pranic healing on somebody without touching them. You can practice pranic healing on somebody at a great distance, and they will receive benefit. I have validated this for myself for 16 years. It's not a placebo, I assure you. It was actually funny. One of the masters in pranic healing, who is a doctor, he says, okay, if it is a placebo, let's say it is a placebo, does it matter? If the person's condition improves, does it matter? On the higher levels of teaching and truth, we understand why a placebo works. We understand why a placebo works. A placebo works because it makes the person conductive and receptive to being healed. So yes, there is validity in the placebo. There is validity in the mind connecting to healing. Fascinating, right? So isn't that amazing that Grandmaster Chogo Koksui developed pranic healing or Hatha Yoga 30 years ago? Now, because of what has been going on with the world and people needing to stay at social distancing, so a virus doesn't spread, we as healers can help alleviate the pain, the sorrow, and suffering of people at a distance. Fascinating, right? And distant healing, I mean, giving what you need right now as humanity years ago. That's it. So thank you guys for joining today's stream. Thank you for your support, your time, your energy, your comments. If you have any and all other questions about Grandmaster Chogo Koksui that I can answer, please let me know. Again, this is just a celebration of the teacher's life and teachings. Again, MahaSamadhi, the great sleep, When an ordinary person dies or an ordinary person leaves their body, it's not called the MahaSamadhi. It's just the person left the body, the person passed. But for great, great souls and great, great spiritual teachers and great, great beings on this planet, when they leave their bodies consciously, it's called MahaSamadhi. So, ta-da! That's it. Love you guys very, very much. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, evening, week, and life. Don't forget to wash your hands. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.